Alexa, turn the light on. Hi guys, my name is Sammy and welcome to my channel. Currently you're sitting on my bookshelf, so I'm not sure if I'm like exactly centered or anything. But I don't have any equipment, so this is the best we can do. But I just wanted to kind of hop on and talk about this issue that I heard about Colleen Ballinger. So Colleen Ballinger, if you don't know, is a pretty popular YouTube. I think she has a few million subscribers. And she also runs the Miranda Sings channel. She is Miranda Sings, they're one and the same. She's had like a Netflix show because of Miranda Sings, all these different types of things. And basically that's who she is. She's a super powerful woman on YouTube, in the industry in general, because of Netflix. And so that's kind of important to keep in mind for the story. If you don't know, Miranda Sings is like the super like weird character that's just like a bunch of stupid jokes that are lighthearted but funny nonetheless. And the demographic mainly for both of her channels, both her own personal one and for Miranda Sings, is like children. So I would guess like 10 to like 13, 14, 15 type of an audience. So again, just keep that in mind when we are talking about this because it's kind of really important. So one of her biggest fans, Adam, made a video about her, and I watched it just yesterday. And when I saw all the things that she had done to Adam and talked about with Adam and things like that, I kind of felt like I had to speak on it because there's just so many different things messed up with what she did, and so I just felt like I had to hop on. I'm gonna link Adam's video down in the description below. He has all of his receipts and all the DMs, all of, you know, the clips from live and things like that in his video. So if you want to see that, the link's in the description. But I'm gonna give a pretty good summary of it, so just keep watching. So basically the story starts that Adam and Colleen at some point meet, probably like at a meet and greet or something like that, but they've met a few times. So they've taken pictures together, all these different types of things, and he runs a Stan account of Colleen / Miranda, right? It's kind of both. They have DM'd pretty consistently to the point where Adam like thinks of Colleen of a really good friend of his. And the problem is that, let me just remind you, Adam is a teenager throughout this whole thing. He was 13 when he first met her. Right now, today, he's 17. So 4-year span, still super young this whole time. And Colleen is in her 30s this whole time. So just so we all understand what the situation is that we're talking about. He meets her, they DM, all these different types of things, but when he first meets her, this is when Colleen is in the process of getting a divorce from her ex-husband, Joshua. And she's giving him all sorts of information about her divorce. And mind you, this kid is 13 years old. So she's talking to him about things that he has no business really knowing about, A. B, she shouldn't be telling like a 13-year-old, regardless of their relationship, about his or her divorce, excuse me. And C, the thing is that she was using him to dig up dirt on her ex-husband, on, you know, all these different types of people that she asked him for. I think it was just like ex-friends, things like that. She was using him and his knowledge of the internet and social media to dig up dirt on these types of people. And personally, I just think that's really bad judgment. It's just super irresponsible of her to do, A, and B, it's an abuse of her own power, right? Because she is taking her likeness, taking her status, taking her power, using a fan who obviously idolizes her, obviously wants her to like him, and just having him do whatever she wants purely for her own personal gain. And this is kind of a theme that runs throughout this whole story. So that's part one. Part two of the story is, I think it was like a year or two later, Colleen and her best friend Corey were on live together. And on the live, her best friend is like wearing a bra and panties on top of his clothes, which like again, let me remind you, her demographic is like kids, preteens. So it's like kind of inappropriate, kind of not. You know, you get away with it. I'm not too mad about that necessarily. Um, but on the live, and you can see this clip in Adam's video. On the live, you can see that she is going through his Twitter, just like laughing. Oh my God, you're so funny, da da da, this, that, and the other. And she goes, oh my God, I want to send you something, to Adam on the live. And she jokes and she says, oh, like, would you want this lingerie set that Corey is wearing? And her and Corey are just like busting up laughing about it. Because honestly, that's funny. You know, like, honestly, to me, the reason that's funny is because it's so ridiculous and it's so out of pocket that, of course, it's funny because it's a joke. You would never do something like that. Right? But then the thing is the joke kind of continues. And she acknowledges this in the live too. She's like, what would your parents say, like, if a 30-year-old woman and a 30-year-old man, like, sent you lingerie? Like, how ridiculous would that be? Da da da. Like, she's acknowledging that this is a really bad idea. She's acknowledging that this is ridiculous and stupid. But then the joke continues. So she meets him again at a show. I think it was a meet and greet, something like that. And Adam is with his parents. So his parents are right behind him. And she's like, oh, like, so good to see you, whatever. I'm sorry I didn't bring the lingerie for you. Again, Adam's probably at this point like 14, 15, something like that. She's in her 30s and she's talking about giving lingerie to this like 15-year-old boy with his parents standing right there. Again, it could be a joke that just fell flat. It could be just a really bad like judgment on her part, but that's exactly it. You know, it's really bad judgment. Like, why would you make a joke like that? But again, if it's a joke, that in and of itself, if it's just like talking whatever, I would be able to forgive. You know what I mean? The thing is, though, that he probably like got in trouble because, you know, his parents like, what the hell is this like 30-year-old woman talking to you about? What kind of conversations are you having with her? Things like that. They started to get like weary, monitoring him, whatever. It became a big thing in his house, right? But all of that, everything that's happened thus far, I honestly would be like, you know, like, whatever, big deal, right? But then she goes on to, like, let me just explain to you the process of mailing something to somebody. Like, you have to go through and find it, because I'm sure she didn't just, like, have it on hand. Like, she had to, like, go and find it in her drawer, or go and find it, like, in a pile of stuff. Get an envelope. Put it in the envelope, get a label made with her address, have it addressed to him, like, ask for his address, first of all, have it addressed to him with his name, you know, his address, all that stuff. He lives in Ireland, so she had to pay, like, extra postage to get it sent from the US to Ireland. And nowhere in that process of, like, making the first initial joke, to then making the second joke, to then finding the you know, lingerie, putting it in an envelope, addressing it and sending it, did she think like maybe this is a bad idea? You know what I mean? So I just think, going back to what I said earlier, that's just like really, really, really poor judgment. I'm not sure what her motive behind that was. She did say that, oh, like, I want to send him something, but like, send him merch. You know what I mean? Like, send him something for free, give him like a coupon, whatever. Like, your brand is so childish that this is so out of pocket and so inappropriate for you to do that you should have known better, is all I can say about that. You should have known better, and you should have known not to do that. Like, if this was Trisha Paytas, for example, like, Trisha Paytas' whole brand is being edgy and, you know, sexual and things like that. And so if she were to send a fan lingerie, it would be like, yeah, like, that's what Trisha Paytas does. Colleen Ballinger does not. Colleen Ballinger is, like, married with a child and makes content for kids to laugh at, makes vlogs with, like, her family and her nieces and nephews and things like that's like just not the vibe. You know what I mean? So I don't understand the disconnect there. I don't understand like how that thought process actually happened. But nonetheless, it does. He gets in trouble for it, obviously, because it's like, who is this bitch sending you lingerie in the mail? Like, what is going on? So he gets in trouble for it. all because Colleen thought it was funny. But again, all of that so far is, to me, like, obviously it's a big deal to him, but to me it's like, yeah, bad judgment, whatever. She could just apologize for that and it'd be good to go, you know? The problem is that this issue of her using her power and status and likeness continues, and it kind of goes a little bit too far with the next thing. So she messages him on Instagram and she's like, oh my God, the Miranda Sings channel is dying, da-da-da, like, please help me out. Can you send me some ideas of things to post? She's asking for, like, tweet ideas. She's asking for video ideas. She's asking for just, like, straight up content for the Miranda Sings channel. And, like, if somebody came to me and asked me for that, my first answer would be no. And then if they insisted, I'd be like, okay, cool, how much are you paying me, right? Because I'm 22 and I understand that I should be compensated for my ideas, my work, etc., right? At this time, he's like 16. You know, he's like 15, 16 years old. He maybe should have known better. That's an argument you could make. But at the same time, the fact of the matter is that she certainly should have known better than to be asking this child for all of these ideas, all of these concepts, for her to directly financially benefit from. Like, that's the part that's like, she wants something for free to make money off of it, and then he gets nothing out of it. And she actually acknowledges that, right? She acknowledges that in the DMs, which again, you can see in the link in the description, but she says, I don't feel comfortable taking all of, you know, your ideas for free, all of your concepts. I want to go ahead and call you my social media intern. And if things go well, then we'll discuss an hourly rate. Thing is interns should be paid. So if he is your social media intern, you should be paying him anyway. So that is just a bad move, A. B, I would honestly make the argument that it's probably illegal, because I'm pretty sure that unpaid internships at this point in time are illegal now. I haven't seen them in a really, really long time. And I think, like, it's just, like, straight up not allowed. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I feel like that's neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, it's still immoral, especially for something like this. You know what I mean? Like, she's in a position where she's making a lot of money off of these YouTube channels. She's asking literally somebody else for ideas for her to directly make money off of. Logically, he should get at least, like, an hourly rate for that. At least. If not a cut, but at least an hourly rate. But, you know, she doesn't offer that. She says, as long as things go well. Now, the issue that comes into all of this, as if that wasn't an issue enough, is that he had already pre-sent her, like, I think it was something like 10 to 15 different concepts and ideas, and she thought they were hilarious. She's like, haha, these are so good, like, you know, such a good idea. Ends up giving him access to her Twitter account, you know, email, password, whatever, and says, quote, go crazy, right? And so he's like, dope. I'm going to go ahead and log into this Miranda Sings account, and I'm going to do some promo on it. You know, I'm going to do my job. And so he logs in and he makes some of the jokes and, you know, says some of the tweets that he already said that he would say, to which she responded, yeah, here's the email and password to my account. Go ahead and do that, basically. So he makes this joke. I think, if I understand it correctly, it's like Miranda was supposed to come out as a Meghan Trainor fan or something, and I think her fans got upset about it because it's like queer baiting. Like, what business does Miranda Sings have coming out? It's like, it's touchy, you shouldn't be doing that, da 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 da. And so, long story short, she gets into a scandal over it, and she starts, like, manipulating him, basically, and is like, you know, I can't believe that you did this to me. Like, I can't believe that we're in this situation right now. Like, you should have had me approve everything, da 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 da. Like, from this point on, like, I have to approve everything. And Adam's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you did. Like, you did approve it. Like, scroll up. Like, you did approve it. What are you talking about? But again, she's like, doesn't have it. She's just like, no, like, I think we're just gonna have to, like, move on, blah, 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 whatever. So obviously this is, like, really devastating for Adam to hear, because this is like, he's disappointing somebody who he idolizes. She's like actually upset with him, things like that. But then it goes on where Corey and Colleen both are like bashing him on Twitter. You know, she's like posting things saying that these certain hate accounts for Colleen / Miranda Sings, Adam is behind them, all these different things, and Adam is like not behind them according to him. And so like, long story short, she's just like using her voice, her power, and Corey also is using his voice and Colleen's power, really, to like bash this 17-year-old kid. And honestly, like, Colleen has a kid, Colleen is married, Colleen runs like multiple YouTube channels, and I'm sure has a lot better things to do. So I'm so confused as to why she feels the need, or why she even has the time to like make fun of this kid online and have like her whole following like go against him. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's so much effort for what it is, and at the same time it's just like pure evil. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think all around this is a really shitty situation, and I think this is a really it's just another example of, you know, people in power, people with status, like using their power to get what they want, right? So in every situation that I talked about, she's using the fact that he loves her and like wants to please her and like wants to be friends with her. She's using that to her advantage. She's like, cool, I can use this kid as like my direct like PR guy. Like, I can use him as my social media intern. I can use him to like be my therapist. I can use him, like, all these different types of things. All these things that she did, she has direct benefit from, and he has repercussions from in every situation. And as a 33-year-old woman, she should know better than to do this at all, but especially not with a 17-year-old kid. Not to mention, I think that using somebody's labor, however you want to define that, without compensation is extremely immoral, especially when it's a child. I think that's called child labor. And there's laws against that. Especially without compensation. That is at least minimum wage. So, I don't know. I think this is all around just a completely messed up situation. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. And like I said, if you guys want to watch Adam's initial video, the link will be in the description below. But other than that, I will probably be posting on this channel a few times a week. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is. I just kind of wanted to pop on and have this little video made because this was something that like genuinely kind of pissed me off, and so I had to say something about it, and so that's what this is. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The links will be in the description below, and thank you guys so much.